How's it going, fellow collectors? So quick question. How many of you are still in the statue game? Or if you're watching this video, you probably are.
Oh, I got a live one here.
Now, I've been seeing a couple of videos where some people feel that collecting in general is kind of dying off. Now, my personal opinion and what I've seen, it's not necessarily dying off, but it's just coming to a very, very slow pace. Now, just kind of reflecting off of that, I myself have been seriously collecting for the past, I would say, 7 to 10 years. So to start off with, just to get it out of the way right now, the biggest problem with collecting today is the cost, the price. Now, when I first started collecting, quartz scale statues were like $300, $400, and they have slowly started to increase higher and higher. That is probably, in my opinion, the biggest factor why the hobby is kind of coming to a standstill. In addition to that, I honestly feel that the people who were into collecting were people of my generation, my age range. Now, I myself, I am a child of the 80s and adolescence of the 90s. So you can take all the kind of pop culture, cartoons, comics, all of that occurred during that time. Some things just off the top of my head, X-Men, Batman, Transformers, I can go on and on. So we enjoyed that as kids, as adolescents, and then we got older, we were able to kind of reminisce, reflect, and relive our childhood in a sense. But with that said, of course, as people get older, the priorities change. What I mean by that is people start developing careers, different goals, developing families. So their focus isn't on collecting figures and all that. It's, family, career, buying a house, finances, debt, goes on and on. So collecting, in a sense, is really just a luxury for most of us. But when life hits, obviously that luxury can go right out the window. So that's another reason why I feel the hobby has been slowing down recently. Now, I could be wrong. I don't have the information, the data, the sales, the quarterly profit margins of any of these companies because they're all privately owned. Now, with that said, a company needs to adapt to the times in order to survive. And I have seen that through the years that I've been collecting. What I mean by that is, not too many years ago, when a statue would come out, they would immediately put the edition size on it. And just from a business perspective, I believe that they would put the edition size right off the bat because they were very confident that that statue was going to sell at whatever edition size they put it in. We don't see that anymore. What we see now is to be determined. So again, this is just me as a business perspective. Business mindset is if we're not selling as much as we used to, we need to make sure that our products are not in excess. Basically, we don't have statues sitting around for years because we overly produce them. So they'll open up the pre-order and let it sit for what I've noticed about 3-4 months or so. Then they'll put out the edition size. So what that tells me is that they kind of got a gist of how many people were actually going to order this statue. Then they add a little bit more on top of that, just so they make sure that they have a little bit of more surplus to sell, keep on selling throughout the years. Now, side note, I feel that is a very excellent business model because what happens when you put out a statue that isn't so quote-unquote hot? Well, of course, not many people are going to order it, so it has a low edition size. Flip that around, what does low edition size mean to a lot of collectors? Rarity, supply and demand. So just the fact that a statue may have a low edition size, that will automatically get people to buy it. Kind of sucks because you're just buying it based on the rarity of it, not so much because you enjoy that statue. But at the same time, it's kind of the flip way as well, where statue could be awesome. I've seen it plenty of times recently, currently, where you have an awesome statue that comes out. And then they put out the edition size, and it is a ridiculously high number. Now, going back to the cost, in order to make the money that these companies are losing out on, that cost is always passed on to us, the consumer. Simple math, I could put out 1,000 statues and charge $500 for them, but what's the point if I'm only going to sell 500 of them, and another half of them are just going to be sitting there for God knows how long? So instead, let me just make 500 and charge $1,000 for each one. And one of the biggest, I guess, red flags, in my opinion, that I saw this past year was Black Friday. Now, in previous years, Black Friday was an excellent time to get a statue. I mean, I got Wonder Woman right here on an excellent Black Friday deal. This past year wasn't the case. All I saw, for the most part, not everywhere, but for the most part, was all the figures, not many statues, but mostly just figures, hot toys, stuff like that, being discounted, yes, but it was everything that I saw. Again, every collector's different, but in my opinion, it was just the stuff that nobody really wanted. So to me, they're just putting a discount, just trying to get it out of stock. Now, I don't know if this is still the case, but again, recently, there's been some companies, I'm not going to name any names, but that they're offering a free figure if you purchase so much. That's another indication that these companies are struggling, so they're doing what they need to do to survive, essentially. And another observation is going back to the whole concept of low edition size. I continue to see recently statues that do have a low edition size that are still available for order. So that tells me that, yeah, people's life, priorities, etc., they're somewhere else. You know, with the basic cost of living, it's no wonder why the hobby is kind of slowing down the way it has been recently. Now myself, I have slowed down in collecting tremendously as well, for the exact same reasons why I told you. Personal stuff, life, just everything going on, and just my priorities kind of shifting away. And besides, as you can see, my statue room is full, so I'm not in a rush to get any more statues. And I'm the type of collector where I do not sell any of my stuff. I keep it, box it up, kind of put it on rotation. But what has been a great help, a great deal to me, guys, is I've done it before and I'm doing it again this year, where I'm not ordering any large-scale expensive statues this year. Now, I have some major ones on pre-order that I got last year, and the only reason why I was able to get them from pre-order was because the previous year I did not purchase any large-scale expensive statues. But hey, that's just my reflection of the current state of collecting. Just wanted to put that out there. But I would like to know what you guys think about the current state of collecting. Give me your feedback. Tell me what you think. If you feel I'm right, wrong, different ideas, etc., go ahead and let me know. So leave your comments down below. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. And as always, collect what makes you happy.